Hold on to your forks. We're diving into the colossal world of African snails. Intrigued by the idea of a snail larger than your hand? Serving up smiles one dish at a time. Foodie's Mood is now live. Hey there, moody foodies and curious adventurers. Welcome back to another wild culinary journey with yours truly as we dive deep into the world of African snails. Now let me tell you folks, these aren't your ordinary garden snails. We're talking about colossal, monstrous creatures that could give Godzilla a run for its money. Yes, snails the size of cow tongues. Can you believe it? So what exactly are these African snails and why on earth would anyone want to eat them? Well, hold on to your taste buds because we're about to unravel the mystery behind these gastropod giants. You see, African snails are not your typical garden variety. They belong to the Intimidate family and are native to East Africa. These snails are incredibly huge, with some specimens reaching lengths of up to 8 inches or more. Picture a snail that could easily double as a small loaf of bread. Now, that's a conversion starter at your dinner table. Imagine this. You're at a wedding, all dressed up, and suddenly you spot something on the buffet table that stops you dead in your tracks. It's not the traditional wedding cake. It's something even more jaw-dropping. A platter of gigantic African snails. I kid you not, these snails are the size of cow tongues. I couldn't believe my eyes the first time I saw them being served. It was like a scene out of a sci-fi movie. Those snails could probably moonlight as extraterrestrial creatures in Hollywood blockbusters. But guess what? They're considered a delicacy in some parts of Africa. Now you might be wondering, why in the world would anyone eat these colossal snails? Well, for starters, they're packed with flavor and can be quite tender if prepared correctly. Plus, they're a good source of protein and essential nutrients. But here's the kicker. Preparing these snails isn't for the faint of heart. They need to be meticulously cleaned, often soaked in water with lime or vinegar, and thoroughly cooked to avoid any potential health risks. It's not as simple as plucking them from the garden and throwing them on the grill. In the age of social media, nothing escapes the attention of foodie influencers looking for the next viral sensation. Enter the African Snail Challenge, where influencers try to outdo each other in the quest for bizarre and attention-grabbing content. For example, take a peek at Random Stevie PH on YouTube with a whopping 370,000 views of just a 5-second clip showing a guy devouring snails. And what's the twist? He adds some pretty interesting eating noises to go along with it. But what's the appeal here? Is it the shock factor or the taste that draws viewers in? We are not quite sure, but it's definitely attention-grabbing. Now let's talk about those appetizing videos featuring African snails. You've probably stumbled upon some of these while scrolling through your social media feed. They come complete with close-ups of snails being prepared, sizzling on the grill, and sometimes even garnished with exotic herbs and spices. But here's the real question. Do these videos want you to rush out and try African snails, or do they leave you feeling utterly disgusted? I mean, let's be honest, watching someone slurp down a snail the size of a hot dog can be a bit off-putting. But hey, to each their own, right? For those brave enough to take on the African Snail Challenge, it's time to roll up your sleeves and dive in. Imagine the suspense as you take that first bite, knowing you're about to experience something extraordinary, either incredibly delicious or nightmarishly slimy. But one thing's for sure, eating African snails is not for the faint of heart. It's an adventure that requires an open mind, a strong stomach, and perhaps a dash of courage. And who knows, you might just discover a new favorite delicacy. Now, did you know that African giant snails are not only a culinary specialty, but also a nutritional powerhouse? These snails, particularly from the Achatina genus, are known for their high protein content, low fat, and rich supply of essential minerals like iron, magnesium, and calcium. This makes them a sought-after item not just for their size, but also for their health benefits. Globally, snails are consumed in over 90 countries, with France, Italy, and parts of West Africa leading in consumption. In these cultures, snails are more than just food. They're a part of tradition and gastronomy. The African giant snail specifically is a staple in many African cuisines, celebrated for its meaty texture and ability to absorb flavors. But here's a quirky fact. In some places, these snails are not just eaten but also raised. The annual World Snail Racing Championships in the UK might not feature the African giants, but it highlights the global fascination with these creatures. For those brave enough to try, eating African snails is an experience that combines taste, texture, and the thrill of trying something truly unique. Some adventurous eaters describe the flavor as similar to that of mussels or clams, but with a firmer texture. Chefs often prepare them in rich sauces, grilled or even stuffed, turning these snails into a gourmet experience. The African Snail Challenge, therefore, isn't just about overcoming the initial hesitation. It's about diving into a rich, historical, and surprisingly nutritious part of global cuisine. So whether you're a daring foodie or just curious, tasting these colossal snails is a way to connect with a tradition that spans continents and cultures, offering a delicious glimpse into the vast and varied world of gastronomy. So there you have it, folks, the shocking world of African snails. From their ginormous size to the surprising trend of influencers devouring them on camera, it's clear that these snails have made their mark in the culinary world. But whether you're tempted to try them or just watch in amazement from the sidelines, one thing's for sure: African snails are here to stay. They may not be everyone's cup of tea, but they've carved out their niche in the ever-evolving landscape of adventurous eating. Here's a quirky bonus for those who ventured into the world of African snails. Try your hand at snail whispering. While it's more humorous than scientific, observing and communicating with these slow-moving critters can be surprisingly entertaining. Watch their leisurely pace and pretend to interpret their moods. Is your snail feeling curious or just taking it easy today? While they won't respond to your whispers, they're snails, not secret agents. It's a light-hearted way to engage with these unique creatures. Plus, imagine the fun at your next dinner party. Guess what? I'm a budding snail whisperer. Your guests will be amused and intrigued, if not a little bemused. After exploring the fascinating world of African snails and the quirky practice of snail whispering, remember to keep an open mind about culinary adventures. The next time you see someone enjoying a giant snail, think about the vast array of unique delicacies out there waiting to be discovered. Don't miss out on more food adventures. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest culinary explorations. Stay adventurous and keep your palate ready for new, mouth-watering experiences. Happy eating!